If you're looking for an honest opinion of whether to buy the Ufly F8, you have come to the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vlogging Project, and let's see if this phone is worth 80 bucks. Now let's have a look at the specifications quickly, and they sound absolutely amazing for 80 bucks on paper. We've got 5.5 inches IPS LCD Full HD screen, Snapdragon 615, 16 GB of storage, 2 GB of RAM, 3080 mAh of battery, 13 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel front camera, dual SIM slot with a combo micro USB slot, and as well as our fingerprint reader. It's running Android Marshmallow out of the box, and probably you will never see updates ever again. But yeah, for 80 bucks it sounds sweet, but in reality, well, let's see. The first thing you're gonna notice is that the box looks nice but kind of cheap, and the Ufly logo is cleverly imprinted on the box here. I'm not sure if you can see it on this light, but it's just a nice thing to see. Now opening up the box reveals the silicone case. They were kind enough to include a screen protector as well, some literature, and over here we've got micro USB cable, SIM ejection tool, the power brick over here, and this European adapter. They still think that UK is part of Europe somehow. How funny. The design of the phone is quite familiar, but in a good way. So that's the phone itself, guys. The design definitely reminds of a bunch of other phones available at the moment. Nothing special, but nothing out of the way as well. You've got the small Ufly logo over here, the fingerprint reader. That's our noise cancelling microphone, flash 13 megapixel camera. On top is clean, we've got nothing. On this side we've got our power button, which is exactly placed where it should be, and our SIM tray, which is over here, and it's made of metal. It's a combo slot. It's good for 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card and 1 micro SD card as well. Moving on to the other side, we've got the volume rockers here, and at the bottom we've got our mono speaker here, micro USB charging port, another microphone, and 3.5mm jack. Kudos for that. Now one very interesting thing is that you can see a blue light inside the headphone jack. I've got no idea where this light comes from, but I can imagine that's from the capacitive buttons over here. But anyway, the materials used for this phone are kind of cheap, but it looks nice anyway. The back cover is made of plastic. You can't really remove the back cover unless you really want to, which is held by a couple of clips over here and some glue in the middle. So I don't suggest you doing that. In the front I have no information if they use any kind of Gorilla Glass, but the screen itself looks a little bit on the plasticky side. On top here you're gonna see a couple of sensors, our earpiece grill, and the 8 megapixel front camera. At the bottom we've got this ring over here which doubles as a home button as well. We've got 2 small dots over here which could be swapped around. These are the back and recent buttons. The sides feel very nice and they're made of metal. We've got some chamfered edges as well, but mind you, there's a little bit of an edge when you hold the phone like that. You can definitely feel the sharpness of the edge with your fingertips over here. But the good thing is that if you drop the phone face down, it will probably hurt the edge rather than the screen. So the design and overall build quality, I would say thumbs up for 80 bucks. Now size wise, this is definitely not a small phone. There's the Moto Z here, which is not a small phone as well, and let's compare them quickly side by side. If you put them like that, you can see that the Ufly is even taller and it's even a little bit wider than the Moto Z, noticeably thicker because the battery is bigger as well. But overall the in-hand feel, I would say, is good, and the button placement, the power button is here, the volume rockers are here. I definitely like that. So let's move on to the fingerprint reader, and I can tell you guys that this is the slowest fingerprint reader I have ever seen in my life. If you think that you're gonna tap the fingerprint reader like that and you're gonna lock the screen, you're definitely wrong. Check this out, how much time it takes to unlock the screen. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, unlock. Check it out again. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous, guys. It takes so much time and it's not very reliable as well. I have set my middle fingerprint to launch the camera and it doesn't recognize it over here. Let's see. Yeah, it unlocks. I mean, I have no idea why it doesn't recognize the camera, but it's just, Oh yeah, camera, there we go. I mean, the fingerprint reader sucks. Now the display. I understand it's a Full HD screen, but it's so dim that literally you can't see anything in bright sunlight. Now moving on to the screen, as I said, 5.5 inches LCD IPS Full HD screen, and the screen definitely looks nice, the saturation is nice, but there are two problems with the screen. First of all, the black bars. Check how big these black bars are, guys. Check this out. These are like the biggest black bars I have seen on any phone, and I definitely don't like that. And the other thing which I don't like about this phone is the maximum brightness. Now the maximum brightness is absolutely pathetic, it's worse than any phone I have ever seen in my life. Basically in bright sunlight you can see absolutely nothing on the screen, so if you live in a sunny country, this phone is definitely a no-go for you guys. I found something very peculiar about the brightness of this screen. It almost looks like it's defective or something, but there's something very strange. Check this out. I haven't done the auto brightness on because it doesn't help a lot. And basically I'm gonna set the brightness to 100% according to the slider over here. And check this out, that's a simple application which tells us the exact percentage of brightness and it says 74%. I mean, what the hell? Check this out. I'm gonna stop this application and I'm gonna set the screen to, let's say, somewhere in the middle. We've got 37%, which is accurate reading basically. So we've got all the way up here. We try the application once again and we've got 74%. So basically in order to get a little bit more of a brightness boost, you gotta crank the brightness yourself to 100%. It doesn't make huge of a difference, but at least it's a little bit of a brightness boost, which you will definitely need. The speaker is not very good as well. So moving on to the sound, that's basically one of the worst speakers I have ever heard in my life once again, and the volume is really low. Now let me show you an example. Now let's crank the volume to the max, guys, and let's play this track quickly. Check this out. If you can hear what I'm saying at the moment, this means this speaker is not loud at all. And you definitely have to copy it like that with your hand. One thing you can do to improve the overall loudness is open up this application, Volume Booster by Good Dev. Now it doesn't require root or any special privileges, so all you gotta do is just watch a couple of annoying advertisements, but anyway. You boost it to 20% because if you boost it more, it gets an annoying crackling noise from over here. So boost it with 20%, go back to YouTube and rewind this song a little bit. Check this out. Now this improves the volume quite a bit. Of course the quality is definitely not there, but that's the best thing you can do to improve the loudness a little bit, because otherwise it's unusable. And the headphone jack is bad. When we talk about the 3.5mm jack, the volume is so low that, I mean, it's worse than average actually. The performance though is I don't know. So moving on to the performance of this phone, I thought that the Snapdragon 615 should at least give a decent performance, but unfortunately I was wrong. And again, in the performance department, that's one of the worst phones that I had. Check this out, when you open up Chrome, check this out, how long is gonna take to load Chrome. I mean, how bad was that? That was a good like 2 seconds. Check this out. That's bad, guys, that's bad. Let's switch the camera on. As you see, it takes a good 2 seconds to open up whatever you're gonna open. And let's start Play Store or something like that. Installing a game takes a long time as well. And multitasking is kind of slow. You gotta hold this button. Check this out. It's all a bit jerky and a bit clunky over here. Let's come back to Chrome. Yeah, I mean, it's 2 gigs of RAM. I mean, what did you expect? It's not very good. Anyway, and software wise, I mean, it's nice and clean. You've got totally no bloatware installed on this phone. Now the phone is running Android 6.0.1 and the kernel version is from August 22nd of 2017, which is alright, but the problem is that I definitely don't see any updates coming out of this phone. It's not that it has any bugs and it needs an update, but just think about it, you're gonna get no updates whatsoever. And I can happily report that without my applications installed, that was the cleanest install of Android I have ever seen. You've got something like 18 applications in total. Let me show you the screenshot when I got this phone first. Now that was everything that you had installed on your phone. Just the bare essentials plus FM radio, which is good. Thumbs up for the clean install, but definitely thumbs down for the terrible performance and RAM management. And the gaming performance is even worse. And now if you think that was bad, think about it twice, because the gaming performance, check this out. Epic Citadel 16.8 FPS. I have never had such poor results, and let me tell you that the gaming performance is absolutely terrible. Now let's quickly have a look at the gaming performance. It's not only that the game takes ages to load, but once it's loaded, I mean, check this out. Check this out. How bad was that? I mean, it's pretty bad. And check this out. You press tab to continue like 4 times. It still loads. Oh yeah. Press continue. I mean, it's bad, guys. It's definitely not for gaming. The battery life is surprisingly good, actually. 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. So up until now you're probably thinking, oh my god, that's the worst phone ever, but I'm happy to report that there's at least one thing which is actually pretty good about this phone, and that's the battery life. Now the test that I have conducted over here is with 2 SIMs inside, using the phone only for conversations and absolutely nothing else, and I got 6 days 7 hours of battery life out of this phone, guys, which is absolutely phenomenal, and I've got 11% of battery life left. Over here I did the same test. I've got only 2% left, but I got 5 days and 14 hours. And now switching back to my main SIM card, only one and to very heavy usage, check what the results I got. 3 hours 42 minutes with 8%, which is basically 4 hours of screen on time, 4 hours 37 minutes, 4 hours 47 minutes, and the last one that I took is 5 hours and 1 minute, which for 3000 mAh of battery, definitely thumbs up. The battery life is solid on this phone, guys. Now what about recharge times? The phone takes exactly 2 hours 45 minutes to 100%, simply because it doesn't support quick charge, which is pretty much normal at this price range. Surprisingly, the front cam is good though. Now it's very interesting that actually the front camera of this phone is the better one. It's only 8 megapixels compared to the 13 megapixel rear facing camera, but let me tell you, this one is better, and actually the selfies look not that bad. Check this out, there's plenty of detail of this photo and it's not that bad after all. This photo is kind of alright as well. Check the details over here. It's not too bad, it's definitely usable. Actually, the worst thing about this phone is the camera. Especially the video camera. But when we move to the back camera, oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna let you look at that slide and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now let's have a look at the video and the stabilization. Hello guys and welcome to Vlogging Project. It's time to test the video capabilities of the Fly F8. I have totally no information about any kind of stabilization, so let's see what we have. But let me tell you that on the screen it looks terrible. So let me see what's happening around me, and let's see how the stabilization works when walking, holding the phone with one hand as always. Let's shake it up a little bit like that, a little bit like that. Short run. And yeah, let's check. Oh, by the way, let's check the autofocus. So let's have a look at the autofocus. Does it work? Or maybe not so much. It kind of works. Sometimes. Now, as you saw, the video is quite bad. The stabilization doesn't work at all. There is no stabilization. And as well as the autofocus is pretty much non-existent as well. The rear camera is pretty bad, unless I think I had only one good photo out of all the photos that I took. And the front-facing camera is kind of alright, but basically that's about it. So where does that leave us with the Ufly F8, guys? Should you buy this phone for 80 bucks? And my answer is definitely no. Because okay, the battery is good, the design build quality is good, but apart from that, everything else is pretty much the bottom. It's just terrible. And the overall experience with this phone, I didn't really enjoy it at all. So there are plenty of alternatives. You can check my older videos. My Cubot Magic is pretty good for the same amount of money, as well as this Panasonic Eluga Tab, which is pretty much the same amount of money, but it's overall way better phone. I've got the review coming down next week, so hit the thumbs up button if you like my video, guys. Subscribe to my channel as well for plenty of more videos to come, and see you in the next one. Adios.